I'm so excited that you guys are here. I'm so excited that you guys are here today to share with this celebration with me. This is my 2-year anniversary. My 2-year anniversary, and I'm so excited. I am so excited. Hey, you guys, I know notifications are going off. This is my first time streaming on YouTube, so this is out of the norm for me. So, yeah, we just gonna flow. I don't know who's gonna draw in live, but we shall see. We shall see. But again, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am super excited to share my story. This is Tell It Tuesday on a Wednesday, okay? Y'all like that, didn't it? Tell It Tuesday on a Wednesday. And tonight, I'm really just sharing my heart. I'm really just sharing my story. I think it's so important that the Bible says we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. And I think it's so important that we share our testimony and we share our story with one another, because we need that. We need the testimonies. We need to be able to hear. I'm sorry, y'all. Let me turn this off. We need to be able to hear each other's stories so we can know if it's, just to be a hope and an inspiration to other people out there. So again, I'm so excited that you guys are here now. It says that I am on, okay, just making sure that everything is a go. So notifications should be going off. And again, welcome everybody. If you are coming in late, yeah, I see it now. If you're coming in late, you'll be able to go back and catch this broadcast, but I'm not going to be before you long. And I have my queen on here tonight because she is so important to my story, and I want to be able to she and I are I'm going to be talking to you guys, but she's going to share her part in all of this, and we're just going to talk. We're going to have a real conversation on tonight. So you're going to hear a lot of how I got to where I am. And let me just say this, I have not arrived anywhere. I am still growing. I am still learning. I'm still doing some things, but God has been so faithful. And I wanted to share how good God has been to me, because maybe my testimony can be a encouragement or a word of life for you guys. So I'm so excited. For those of you who may not know me, whether you're looking at this or live or catching a replay, I am Sharisa T. I am the visionary of HR Ministries, and I teach, I coach LLC. I consider myself just a midwife. I'm just a vessel. I do know my assignment is to help people birth out their God-given visions. I'm here to help them push past the struggles of life to get into their destiny on whatever journey that may be. Everybody's not called to entrepreneurship, but there is a purpose and a calling inside of all of us. And so God uses me, and I'm not special or anything like that, but he uses me to help other people. And I get the chance to share my story like I'm doing it today. And so tonight we're going to really get down to the nitty gritty. Like, I'm going to tell you the ins and outs of how I got into entrepreneurship, and just the good, the bad, the ugly, and the indifferent of my 2-year journey. So to get to know a little bit about me, I am an educator by trade. I graduated from Alabama State University in 2005, and that was my passion. All growing up, I knew at probably grade 2 or 3 that I was going to be an educator, basically because my teacher made me believe that I could be whatever I wanted to be. And I was so in love with her. I wanted to make people feel the same way she made me feel. And I did that, and I got my degree. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I actually wanted to change my major, because I know that teachers don't make a lot of money. I mean, it is what it is. You have to, in order to get a certain amount, you have to continue to have a certain amount of degree. And so, if you're just a teacher with a bachelor's, you don't make a whole lot of money. And so I looked at that in maybe my first year of college, and I was like, oh, nah, I probably need to go into tech or something like that. Let me do something else. But yeah, education was my first love, and it had always been since I was a little girl. And though I wanted to change, I didn't. But it was all purposeful. Let's say that it was purposeful. What I started as groomed me for what I am today. And so I'm going to share a little bit about that story and how I got here. So I guess I'll go back to 2014. 2014 is when God really started doing like a transition in me. He really started transitioning me into really just my identity, knowing who I am, who he's created me to be. And I really understood the call. He was calling me to something. Though I was an educator, though, I've done certain things in my church that I grew up in, God was pulling me and he was calling me to more. How many people know that there's more out there? Like there's more out there for you. So wherever you are, understand that there's more. God has more for you. One of the things I had to embrace is that I was multifaceted. I didn't understand that at first, what that was. I couldn't put a word to what it was. I just know that he had gifted me many gifts. And I didn't know how to put all of that. I was trying to put it in a box. And I'm trying not to jump all over the place. And I don't want to feel like I'm talking as much, but it all started back in 2014 when I had just transitioned. Well, no, I take that back. No, I wasn't transitioning. I was already in my then church. And I was transitioning from, well, I guess you could say that I was transitioning from being in the back, like being stepped up to the front. He started when I went to my new church back in 2011, I think it was. I really just wanted to sit and grow. Like I didn't want to meet any friends. I wasn't trying to meet nobody. Like I just wanted I was sitting in the back. I would come in, sit, get the word, and I would go home. It wasn't like I was mingling, trying to meet anybody. I didn't go to a lot of the events. Like I really was just trying to learn and grow spiritually. And then there was this one lady who I met who introduced me to so many other women. She will forever be a part of my story. Whether we still talk or not, she will forever be a part of my story. But she introduced me to some ladies. And what we did was we had Bible study. We were having Bible study at the library, at restaurants and things like that. So we were just meeting up and learning the Bible together. And so I had created a small group of friends. Now, at that time, my pastor, my bishop, he was actually talking about the love story of Ruth. And he was really honing in on having a small group of people, like having a community. I didn't understand what he was doing back then, but oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I took the initiative to make to fellowship with other people, because had I not, I probably wouldn't be here where I am today, or it would have been longer than where I am now. But I started communing with them and getting to know them. And at the time we had started a group, like a small group with each other, but we didn't register with the church or anything like that. So that following year, when it was small group season, we decided to, and all of it's going to tie together, because I'm going to tell you how he got me here, because this is Tell It Tuesday on a Wednesday. So I got to tell y'all the full picture so you can understand how God groomed me for this moment. And so in that next year, January 2015, when it was time to go and do the small group season again, like he was like, okay, I want you to lead it. What? No, I don't want to. Lord, I'm still on this journey with you. Like I've known you all my life, but the relationship piece was always missing. I didn't have a relationship. It was more so religion. And so I really was still just trying to learn him and get to know him and get to experience him. And though I wrestled with the decision to lead a group, I didn't understand that my obedience to that was going to lead to where I am today. Had I not said yes to the call just to be a leader of a small group, I wouldn't be able to be a leader in so many other places and run my own business. Now, this is my story. Somebody say we got to answer the call. I've been talking about, it's so funny that I'm saying that because I've been talking about Elijah all week and how Elijah had to follow the voice of God to get his provision. And God told him where to go, and then he went. And when that was gone, or when the brook dried up, he told him to go to the next place, and he went, and he was still getting fed and getting provision by a woman at that particular time. But how many of us understand that, listen, our obedience is everything. Our obedience is everything. Had I not obeyed, though he wrestled with me, and I thank God for his grace and mercy, because Sharisa didn't want to do it. Can I be honest? Like, I was like, no, I got too much going on. I'm doing it. I don't have time. I just didn't see it. It didn't fit in my schedule. You know what I'm saying? Just being honest. And so like I wrestled with that thing, and I talked to one of my good friends, and I thought she was going to be able to, come on. Yeah, we're going to do it together. She was like, I can't. And so after I had just accepted it, I said, okay, God, here we go. Here we go. We have to be able to obey. Our obedience is everything. We got to be able to follow the voice of God. So if you are, God is calling you to something, and maybe he's calling you to entrepreneurship, maybe he's calling you to ministry, maybe he's calling you, I don't know, to be a leader. I don't know, in your perspective place, wherever you are. What I want you to get is that you have to obey. You have to obey. There are so many great rewards if you obey. And you can go to, I think it's Deuteronomy 28, and it talks about the rewards of your obedience. The rewards of your obedience, being able to obey his voice. And so, me just doing that small step, saying, hey, okay, I'll lead this group, didn't understand that the leading of this small group was going to be what catapult me into a full ministry. My obedience to lead a small group open up the voice of God for me to hear him clearly and say, I need for you to be the leader. Like, this is a ministry. At that particular time, my life wasn't, I was in a very dark place. Though I was trying to, learn things and get on, one accord about like just trying to figure out some things. I felt the calling and the tugging to go forward. And so, I'm like, okay, Jesus, okay, here we go. So becoming the leader of the small group opened up a ministry for me. And that's how many of you know HR Ministries, or Hello Ruth, was formed. And so I got a team together, and we've done many, many, many things. And to God be the glory, we are 8 years old, turning 9 this year. So I can't believe like this is the 9th year of me being in a leader of a ministry. Like, Lord, are you serious? What, as good pastor on here say, who am I that he is mindful of me? Because Sharisa, your girl is flawed. Let me tell you, I'm just being honest. I don't have it all together. I don't know everything. I can't listen. It is not of my own power and strength. This is all God. I have to give it to him. Like, he is the head and leader of my life. But it all started for me is from the small step of obedience. So I took that leadership role as a small group leader. And then after that, like, things just start to open up. I now have a ministry. I'm now writing books. I'm now blogging. I'm now speaking. And then I was like, wait a minute, there's a need for me. Because after I stepped up, there were many other people who stepped up behind me. And they was like, oh, okay, you're doing this, you're doing that. And so people needed to see me. My step, my courageous step was a step for someone else to say, okay, if she can do it, I can do it too. And then so after that, you know, books came and other things came, and it just kind of went from there. But once it started, I started envisioning myself as an entrepreneur. I'm still teaching. I'm still in the classroom. I had even started tutoring on the side. I had maybe like 2 kids that parents was like, oh man, my baby needs some extra assistance in reading. And I just want you to work with him like once a week. Like tutoring was not even on my list. None of this was on my list. Let me understand. Let me help you. I just wanted to be a teacher. I didn't know all of this was coming, like seriously. Hey, y'all, I see y'all on YouTube. Hey, I didn't know all of this was coming. So I had maybe like 2 students I was tutoring twice a week. And then I end up meeting one of my good friends. Her name is Monique Washington. She is my first book client, the first person I have ever helped birth a book. The very first person, I think this was back in 2016, maybe, is when it all started. So from 2014, 2015, like God was just transitioning me into this entrepreneur. So I was working my full-time job and still, you know, doing some things on the side. Let me help you. If you are still working a full-time job, you can still become an entrepreneur. Listen, do not give your 9 to 5 more time than you give the vision and the purpose God gave to you. That's the biggest thing I can tell anybody who's still working their 9 to 5. Maybe God has not called you off of your job yet, and it's okay. But if you want that, for me, I saw it before I saw it. That's good. Y'all better put that in the chat. I saw it before I saw it. I actually said it to myself, but I also said it out loud to a person. I remember the day clearly. We were at Another Broken Egg, and I told her, I was like, girl, I can see myself coming here eating at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning, and not waiting till a good Saturday or Sunday morning. And I remember her response was like, yeah, it's going to happen for you. But at that time, it wasn't making sense. Like at that time, I was like, yeah, but yeah. And I'm talking, this is like 16, 17. This is the early part of my journey, like the very beginning. And so I remember just her saying like, yeah, you can do that. And I was like, yeah, I think I can. But at the time, it was so much other things that was going on in my life. I had filed for bankruptcy. I had lost my home. I had my apartment. I had lost my car. Like my finances it was crazy. It was a crazy time. I went through a very dark season. I went through something that really like shook my faith and was really trying to make me denounce God. And so I was in a very, very weird place. But, and I don't know what year it was. I want to say it was 2018, maybe. We were doing a partner fast. And this is where this lovely woman of God comes in. I want to say it was either 2017, 2018. I can't even remember the year. It was somewhere one of those years. Our church had called a 21-day fast. And I'm going to tell y'all, we were only supposed to have like one partner, like one prayer partner over those times. At that particular time, I had 2 partners already. And then this woman of God who's on here with me, she said, hey, God told me to reach out to you and let's partner with the fast. And I was like, yeah, okay, that's fine. I already have 2 partners, but listen, if God told you, I believed her. I believed that God said it. And I was like, yeah, let's go. And we did it. And the rest is history. And I'm going to let her come in and talk about it. But she actually walked me through my entrepreneurship journey from start to like finish. She actually walked me through, and I think, you know, at that particular time, I probably, she probably say it was a blessing for her, but it was really a blessing for me, because had I not had her pushing me and provoking me and praying for me, like, we have to have the right people around us. Tisha said it's 2018. Hey, y'all. Thank y'all so much. It was 2018, Pastor Michelle. But yeah, I had to have the right people around me, because everybody didn't see what God had showed me. And then me and my human nature, I was putting some extra on it, because I was like, yeah, I can be a full-time entrepreneur. I can coach. I can do this. I can do that. I can do the ministry. I can be a blogger, because blogging at that time for me was huge. I don't blog that much anymore. Honestly, I hadn't did it in a while. But like, yeah, I was like, I can write. I can do this. I was popping books left and right. They were coming out the wazoo. I was doing journals and everything. Like, everything was just popping off. And I'm like, yes. But it was until I partnered in prayer with this amazing woman of God. And I'm gonna let her introduce herself for those of you who may not know her. But yeah, and she's gonna talk to you guys, and we'll bounce back. This is nothing we planned out. This is all Holy Spirit. And we're just talking about the journey, how I got to where I am. And she is just a huge part of it. And I can never thank her enough for her seeing something in me that I saw, but didn't really know how to articulate it and how to put it together. Like, she saw something in me that made me see it in myself. And I'll never forget, you say this often, but I'll never forget when you said it to me. You said, Sharisa, you got what you need to get. It's in your hand. Like, you have the resources in your hand to get out of any situation that you're facing. And at that particular time, my finances were crazy. And that's really what I was really wanting God to like do, give me some financial, like a financial blessing, like, Jesus, come on. And she kept, I'll never forget, she's like, it's in your hands. She's like, you are the way out. You looking for somebody else, but you are it. So I'm gonna get this woman of God. She may be already off mute. Come off, let the people know and let's just talk, man.
Amen. Well, first of all, God bless each and every one of you that are here on tonight. Sharisa, it's an honor to be with you on this evening. As I am Michelle Evans with Repurpose Ministries, and again, it's an honor to be here. Sharisa talked about how the Lord really connected us in the spirit before this fast. I remember the night before I went to church that Sunday, and she and I weren't really communicating the way that we do now. We would see each other on Sundays. I don't even know if we were texting, and we weren't in each other's lives the way that we are now. So this connection was strange, but she agreed. And I remember the Lord saying that night that I needed to connect with her. I said, okay. So I felt a little bit apprehensive about going to her the next morning at church. I remember she was coming out of the Dream Team Central, and I asked her, and she was like, okay. And so we fleshed out the particulars, and we started that 21-day journey where we were up every morning at 6 a.m. on the phone, praying. And she would call me or I would call her, but it was 6 a.m. straight for 21 days. And we prayed, and the Lord really knit us together in the spirit. Her entrepreneur journey, a lot of times people see us doing something and they think a couple of things. They think, like you said, we've arrived, but they also think it just happened out of nowhere. And they don't understand that the journey, even to walk away from what we call security, took 1.5 to 2 years for her to say, like, she's been in this thing for 2 years, but it took 1.5 years or so for her to even make the final decision. But God made it so that she was like, there's no other options. I have to do what he's saying do. And so I want people to be encouraged by that. She said it, don't give your 9 to 5 more than whatever the Lord has birthed in you. You have to know what that is first. A lot of times people look at entrepreneurs or business owners and assume that it's for everyone. You need to be called to that just like you need to be called to anything else, because it's going to be ebbs and flows, highs and lows, a lot of uncertainties, because this faith walk is, okay, the brook is here now, but it's drying up, like she said. And the Lord told him when the brook dried up. And if you study that, that brook ran and he was fed there by a raven for, some scholars say, for like 18 months, and then it dried up. This is all in the middle of a famine, and God, dry all around you, but you being taken care of.
Jesus.
In the middle of a pandemic, you're being taken care of.
Come
In the
on.
middle of all of these uncertainties, you've been taken care of. And he
Yeah.
says, listen, this is drying up, but I want you to go there. There's a widow there. Whatever your next there is, God is saying there, I've already commanded someone to give you what you need for your next, but you have to let go of here to go there. Don't worry about the steps in between. Just trust that I've already put your name in the wind there to provide for you in your next. And so I'm just encouraged by what you're doing. I'm encouraged by how you're helping people birth. Like you said, you're a spiritual doula, a spiritual midwife, helping people birth their visions while you're birthing. And while you're birthing others, things are being conceived within you. And people don't understand. We go through this process over and over. It's not just one time. We'll go through it over and over and over and over again. And so I'm excited for what God is doing in your life. I'm excited for people that are able to sit at your feet and glean, people that you're helping birth their visions, their books. You have helped me and helping me. And so I thank God for what he's doing in your life. I'm just excited to be able to say that we're connected. And God did this. One thing that really excites me and blows my mind about God, that's why I'm constantly asking, who am I that you would even think of me? But before we were formed in each other's mother's wombs, he already knew that we would be connected. That in itself, my human mind can't conceive it, but my faith man believes it. And I'm so excited about what's next.
Yes,
Yeah.
Lord. My
Yeah.
God, what a word. And
Yeah.
she said it best, like when God connected us, it took a moment, like after we prayed, like and did that fast, God, let me say this, he transitioned me first. Oh my God. So let me go back. So I was working for one school system, had been there for 14 years.
Yep.
And God made
Can we say security?
secure.
Security.
Secure. God agitated that soil so much. He pushed me out that door.
Yeah.
He pushed me out the door.
Yeah.
Literally, I was out flying, like on the jet skis, like I was ready.
Jesus.
6 months before, and I don't think I share, everybody doesn't know. I don't know if everybody know this, but even 6 months before, I had met someone at church who at that particular time was starting their own school. Now, I didn't know what the school was. I thought it was a daycare. And my sister, Letitia, she'll tell you, I thought it was a daycare. And we had been praying for this particular person, praying. And then, I don't know, maybe it was around February of 2019. So so our fast was in 2018. So this is a year later. This is a year, almost a year later. We were talking, I think we were in a prayer room or something, and we were praying for them to get the grant or something like that. And when we got that, when they told us that, I was like, well, what kind of school is she? What's going on? Like I started to inquire about what was going on. And then that person was like, oh, this is a school, like a cake. I was like, wait. And then I remember that day like it was yesterday, because Letitia looked at me because she knew what I had been facing at my previous school and what I was going through. And I'm not going, but for the sake of, I can't, but it was horrible. It was horrible. Like God agitated that soil. It was no peace. It was bad, y'all. It was bad. And
tell them, you got to tell them, Sharisa, it wasn't just bad every now and then. It got to the point where it was that way every single day. Until you told him yes.
My God, like I was like, Jesus, is it like fight Sharisa Miss Taylor Day? Like, what is happening here? It was always something. I was never living up to that person's standards, or I wasn't doing this right for that person, or it was horrible. And if I could be real transparent, this is somebody who, like, I no, like, like, no, like, family no. And so, like, this was a family person. Like, it was ridiculous. It was just, I was like, what is, like, God agitated that, it, like, he agitated that soul, and I was just over it. So when I inquired about the school, and my friend Tisha, she looked at me, I looked at her, and I said, hey, give me them details. What y'all got going on? And so I think that same day, I want to say that was in February 2019, that same day she hired me. It wasn't no paperwork. It wasn't that. See, people don't understand. God had already secured the position 5 months before I resigned. Talk about the setup. So when they were sitting there doing because they did some dirty stuff to me. Y'all better hear me. They did some dirty stuff to me, to the fact where, I'm gonna be transparent. They tried to low key fire me. Like, it was so crazy. They were trying to go behind my back and fire me, but didn't really realize that what I was coming with was a resignation. Like, I don't want to even be here no more. I don't care about you doing. I don't care. Like, I don't even want to be here. Let somebody else do it. They can have it. Hear me? I'm just being honest. Like, I just don't know. I'm trying not to say too much, but it's just like, it is what it is. I couldn't take it anymore. And so God had secured the position back in February of 2019 for the new position of the new school. But between February and May, I fought because I had been somewhere for 14 years and I loved, and I still love them. Like, those were my people. When you've been somewhere for a long time, you grow bonds and relationships. Like, these are not just people. Like, some of those people were at my previous school. Like, we still talk to today. Like, we were cool, and I was grieved. I really was vexed because I was like, Jesus, like, what is happening? And I really didn't understand why I was going through all that I was going through until I got in my other position, and God was like, at the new school. So here I am, left 14 years. I'm 1 year in at the new school, and God is giving me a vision to go into full-time entrepreneurship. And I'm sitting here like, now, Jesus, what is going on now? And what he told me, the revelation that I got, is that you had to leave the 14-year position of a job, because leaving that 14 years made it easier for you to leave this one. It's not going to be a hard process for you. But I had to go through the what ifs, or what will people say, or how I'm gonna do this, and I don't know. I'm in a new, oh my gosh, I'm in a new territory. I'm full of new people, and it's so crazy because now he's bringing something else in my memory. I ain't going there, but he's like, listen, I had to get you out of your familiarity, put you in something new and different, because I got something greater for you. So your 14 years of leaving that position was a test for me to say if I'm really trusting God. Like, it was like, yeah, if she leave this job, I know she trusts me. So if I spring something else on her for her to do, I know she gonna trust me. If she can leave her security, her relationship, she can. And let me tell y'all, when I got ready to transition from one school into another, I wasn't doing a lot of talking. I couldn't tell nobody. Because he didn't want me to tell anybody, because he didn't want opinions of other people to get in my ear. Because how many of us know when we start running our mouth, oh, God said, and we ain't really securing what God said. And people start talking, are you sure? Like, I couldn't do none of that. Like, I couldn't tell nobody. I told only who he told me to tell. Because this was the school that I went to was a new school, and they need teachers. And I did. I was like, listen, God told me to share this with you. I'm sharing the opportunity with you. Because I know how you feel, because you feel just like I feel. You ready to go too. Now, everybody didn't take it. Some people tried it and they didn't get it. But there was one person who did. And she and I left, and we went to that new school. And then 1 year in, he does it again. See, this is what I'm understanding. Like, God is progressive. There are steps in these things. There are baby steps. It's a process. It's a process. So if you are on here, you're full-time, in your career, but you're thinking about entrepreneurship, trust your journey. Your journey may not be like mine. He took me through a process. I had to take them baby steps. Because he had to build up my faith, because I was like, Jesus, now wait a minute. But in the back of that, because COVID is now here, in the back of that, COVID did a lot for me, y'all. COVID did a lot for me in the tutoring area of my business. Because see, tutoring wasn't on my list. When I wanted to be an entrepreneur, I did not want to tutor. I didn't want to do anything with kids. I was like, nope, I'll do books. I'll do in speaking engagements. I'll do conferences. I'll do all this. It had nothing to do with tutoring, nothing at all. But I can be honest and tell you 95% of my business is tutoring. COVID did that. COVID did that for me. And once I said yes to it, because what God was like, listen, you can still do all those speaking engagements, but you good with how you teach and work with the kids. So in that time of COVID, God started opening other doors for me to start tutoring other children. And at my new school, I met this one particular parent who will always ever be a part of my story, because she's how I got connected to the parent who took me off my job. Okay. See, that's how y'all got to understand. Y'all need to make connections with people. God will put the provision and the supernatural divine appointments in your life, but we are so afraid because we've been hurt, or because we just don't know how to do relationships. You have to understand God divinely put those parents in my life. And then I got connected to this one parent. Didn't know who she was. I never met her before. This person was building their business, and she saw something in me. So now God has connected me with another midwife, because that's basically what she was. She was a client, but she was a midwife, because she saw something in me. She was like, I would love for you to be my baby's teacher full time. This is like 2 times after I tutored her child. And I was like, what? And actually I met her in 2019. And I was like, well, I had just got this position and And she was like, oh my goodness, but I would love for you to be my child's teacher full time. And I heard her, but I didn't really hear her. Like, she was serious. Like, she was so serious. And I remember, I think when it all came, so let me keep going. So, because I'm all over the place. I'm getting excited. I'm getting excited, y'all. Y'all can tell, y'all know how I am. So after maybe what's that, February of 21? January, February 21. I was still working with her child. I had been working with her child for like 2 years now, a year and a half or so. And it comes back around.
Mm-hmm.
It came back around. Because I could have took it then. But see, I was like still like apprehensive. And then I had already made a agreement in this new position as a teacher. And I could have took it then, but I wasn't ready yet. I was afraid, you know, I really was. I was afraid, but it came back around and she was like, oh, my child is having a hard time. Da, 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 da. He's not doing good. And I really just think about, you know, just him, a small group setting will be better for him. I really would love for you to be his teacher next school year. Yep. And I remember calling Pastor Michelle and I was like, girl. And she, when I said she walked that thing through, she walked it out.
I remember us going over the logistics of the contract.
Yes.
We'd never written the contract for this before.
Never.
We did the research on what the investment of the cost would be for you to be a full-time teacher to one child. We wrote all that out. We submitted it. We're like, and then Charissa went back and forth about how much to charge. And if I do that, no, you got to know your worth. This is what the top teachers, this is what you have under your belt. This is what you're worth. Put the number out there. And the client accepted it and paid it. And yeah, I remember us sitting here, we had lunch together and wrote those contracts out for your new venture as a teacher. And even as I'm sitting here listening to you, I hear the obedience, consistent steps of your process, how everything you're doing still falls under the umbrella of you educating and teaching and imparting. Everything still falls under the umbrella of what you said God called you to do and what your vision for your life was when you were when you were a child. And we never know how it's going to happen.
Right.
Assignments will always change. The purpose will always remain the same.
Jesus.
The assignments are going to take you all over the world. The assignments will always change. I'm speaking to someone now. Your purpose and your core will remain the same. My purpose and my core is to get people to understand who they are in Christ, identity. My purpose in Christ or in this kingdom is to get people to connect with God and get the very best out of them. That assignment has taken me your assignments will change, but your purpose, Charissa, has the core of who you are has never changed. You're still an educator, an imparter, a teacher. All of those things are at the core of who you are. Your assignments are going to continue to change. They're going to take you all over the world. They're going to bring clients to you from all over the world that you will never meet in person. They're going to come to you because of the obedient, consistent steps that you keep making. Even now, as you're at another crossroad, come on. You're at another crossroad of God. I'm standing here at this crossroad, left, right, or straight ahead. I'm trusting you because I'm at another crossroad and the sign says unknown to me, but God knows.
Yes,
He says, you go to a place that I will show you. It is in the process of going and being obedient in your spirit first. And say, God, wherever you want to send me, whatever you want to do, you see the need. You told me, I asked you if I could come out of the boat and you said, come on. And so, God, you are obligated to meet the needs of the very thing you put in me to do in this earth realm. You will never have to worry about resources.
Jesus.
Just keep being obedient. You're never going to have to worry about resources. Even when it looks like the jar is getting low, I'm going to continue to say the very same thing to you. I've always said to you, the answer is in you.
Thank you, Lord.
You are the answer. Whoever's listening, your gift is the answer to the provision you're lacking. The talent that God has given you is the answer to the provision that you need.
Thank you.
You're
Lord.
asking God to give you provision, and he's saying, I want you to walk in your gift, walk in your anointing, walk in what you're called to do, walk in your purpose, and it's going to place you at the table of great people. It's going to open doors. Everybody that we see walking in their God-given purpose and calling, they do that first. The money comes after.
Yeah.
So whatever it is you're supposed to be walking in, your assignments are going to continue to change, but your purpose, the core of who you are, will always remain the same. Sharissa and I sat here over Jim and Nick's lunch and birthed out a contract from scratch, decided the cost, decided what the schedule would look like. We birthed it out here at my table, and the Lord blessed it.
And blessed
this client trusted her and saw the gift on her without really knowing her, as most people did. And so you know that it was a God thing, that I want to take my child from what is conventional, and my child is learning with you, and I'm willing to pay top dollar. I'm willing to match and go above what the national school system is paying you.
And that's what I want to put on, because I gotta be honest. Like, she paid me
good.
Yes. She was right with the state a little bit more. What the state will pay me for a 9-hour day.
For one child.
For 4 or 5 hours a day.
There you go.
Y'all ain't hear me. Y'all don't know when to shout. She paid me what I would have gotten as a full-time state employee for one child for less hours. And then, and then on top of that, like, I was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. I was like, she really gonna, and I think I end up sending her that contract again because it was something was off. And I was like, she's not gonna sign it again. She signed that contract twice. Like when I tell y'all, she signed that contract, and I was like, OMG, like, God, you are like blowing my everlasting mind. And I wish I could have got her on here, to be honest, and tell y'all, but it was a faith walk for her too, because she had just really started building her business. She's well known here in Birmingham, like well known. She had just started building her business, and she had started working with like some celebrity, and now she worked with a lot of celebrities, now, but like she was really just starting out as well. So it was a faith walk for both of us. She had faith in God and had faith in the God in me that I could do what she was wanting me to do, and I did. Amen. And here's the thing: we celebrate that, but let's talk about what happened that next year. So now this baby is back to where he needs to be, and he's now going back into a regular school. So I go into a school year 2022-2023, which is what we just went out of, not having a contract like that. But let me tell you how good my God is. Because while I was tutoring for those 4 or 5 hours, I still was building up my clientele in tutoring and coaching. Okay. And so now I was working with I work with more homeschool kids now. And all of this is word of mouth. All of this is word of mouth. If you go on my social media, I don't post anything about tutoring. Like I'm just started posting stuff like that about tutoring. All of this is word of mouth. All of my clients are word of mouth. No advertisement at all. I think only last school year, maybe around September, I started putting my number up in the library. But I had clientele before then. I really did. Like people were already on my books because from my previous school, they knew that I was doing outside, tutoring. And so I had a few clients from there. I had some people from my old school reach back out. Like God starts sending everything. Now, again, I didn't see this. Like, I didn't know all of this was happening. Like, I really thought that I was going to be coaching adults, like children was no. But God used that situation that I was in, this connection that he had made for me to pull me out to really work full time. Because he knew what I was going to need. He knew I needed the money. He knew I needed the resources. He knew that what I was going to need, and he provided each and every need. Now let's get into life without a contract, the big contract. Because we celebrate the first year now. Oh, that was amazing. Oh, that was awesome. Awesome. I'm leaving somebody's home at 1 p.m. a day, and I got the rest of my day to do whatever I please, and I still make this. Y'all, that was good. That was amazing. But let's talk about when I didn't have a contract, which was this past school year.
Yeah.
And all I had was my tutoring clients, and I had my coaching clients, and how God elevated me in that realm. So I want to, first of all, I want to shout out my sister Tabitha Moore, because she's on here. Because she and I do the same thing. And she was allowing me to I kind of like glean some things from her to set up my business. She was like, oh yeah, you should try, what is it called? Like do tuition-based tutoring, where your clients book you for a semester. And I said, okay, bet. So I started doing it. How about they booked me for the whole school year. Every tutoring client I got in August and September said, I want you to work with my child for the year. My day is Friday at 3:30. My day is Monday and Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. My day is Tuesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. Like it started happening. I don't have this big contract. God filled it in for me. And the way I structured it is based off of what Tabitha told me. I thank you, woman of God, for sharing that information, because she didn't have to. She could have said no, but she did. And I took her advice and I took it and I told them at first, I was like, oh, these parents ain't going to do that. Oh, these parents ain't going to do that. They're not going to pay me for the whole month by the first. They're not going to do that. I second guessed it, but I put it out there, and how about they did it? So I had put a system in place for my tutoring clients. Now, my coaching clients, I already had that because I was building that as well. Like that was solid. That was solid. I already knew I did contracts for books and all that kind of like that was solid. But it was the tutoring portion that I had to get under wraps, which again is 95% of my business. He allowed me to structure it so that people booked me for the entire school year. 2022, I'm talking about 2023, like some of my clients are just coming off my books from the school year. And let's talk about this. They even booked me for the summer and said, oh yeah, we coming back starting in August. I'll let you know what day and time I want. Won't he do it? God is great. And even during that time that I didn't have those contracts, y'all, but he did start sending people to do that, finances got to look crazy. It ain't been peaches and cream. I ain't been able to pay a lot of things on time. I can be honest, and y'all want the real? This is the real deal of entrepreneurship. I made some good money I'm gonna be honest, in 1 month, and I can say this now because I used to be afraid to say this, but I can say this. I had set a goal for myself to make $10,000. I made over that in 1 month. But let's talk about them $1,000 months, them $2,000 months, them low months. See, what God was teaching me is entrepreneurship is not for the faint at heart. You got to trust God even when you don't understand, even when you hit a low month or a low season or a low time when, like for me, it was around Christmas time and then around like the end of school year. Again, most of my business is tutoring. So that's where the bulk of my income comes from. But when it was like the holidays, Christmas time, the end of the school year, during those times, I didn't get the same amount like I was getting before. So let's talk about that, y'all. I want y'all to understand this journey is not going to be easy. You're going to have faith like never, like you're going to have faith on top of faith on top of faith. Like you're going to have to, like everything about me, I am not even the same person I was last month. Y'all, let's be clear. God took my faith for a whole nother level. Like I'm not, there have been times when I didn't know where my next meal was going to come from because I have spent all my money making sure that these lights stay on. I got a car outside. I got the insurance and a roof over my head. I didn't know where the next was coming from or how I was going to put gas in my car. But let me tell you how good God is. Every time I was at the end of my rope, he will send somebody. Either an invoice will get paid or I'll get a new client or somebody will say, hey, I'm ready to do this book now. I have people who have paid for services that they ain't even reached back to me. I've been trying to get them to come on, let's get this started. They didn't pay me. And they won't even answer the phone. Let me tell you, God will he will do some things if you just trust him and obey him. But you got to understand, it's a walk. It's a journey. It's not going to be easy. Like there are people, and you can't base your journey off of mine or anybody else's, right? Or you can't look at their business and say, well, hey, they doing this. It should work in my business too. You got to trust God or how he wants to set yours up. Because there are days I wanted to give up. But in this season, he won't even let me complain. He said, you ain't going to look like what you're going through. You're going to wake up every day. You're going to put that makeup on. You're going to go out here. You're going to get it. You're going to continue to post. You're going to continue to share. You're going to continue to go forward. You're not going to look like what you're going through. I can only do that. And I have to trust him, y'all. And if you are thinking about going full time in entrepreneurship, you are going to have to trust him. The process is not going to be easy. You're going to get people who are going to come to you and say, yes, they want your services, they want your products. And then the invoice will be sitting there for months. I'm just going to be honest. The contract won't get signed. Something is going to happen. They're going to change their mind. They're going to go another way. It's just life. And you can't get salty because that happens. I mean, you got to be able to be compassionate, be able to work. You want people to work with you. So you, as an entrepreneur, as a CEO, you got to be able to work with them. So when somebody was like, oh, yes, I'm excited, I'm ready to do this. But then I set everything up and then they don't answer the phone or don't respond back. I'm not going to get salty with them. I'm going to pray for them so that they can go ahead and do what God is calling them to do. See, because when they win, I win. When they get ready, I win. My business is more about service-based. And a lot of my clients, especially like my adults, they are dealing with the spirit of fear. They are afraid to step out. This is something they've never done before. They like topsy-turvy. Like, yeah, one day I'm in, the next day I'm like, I'm out. I'm done. Like, I don't want to do this. This is too much. And then when we understand, when we get ready to walk in our God-given assignment, the enemy going to do everything to get you off of it. So I try to have to tell them, listen, You got to understand that the labor pains are going to come. The contractions are going to come. The enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. Don't you understand? He up there right now trying to talk God not to bless you. Like he's right now trying to say, listen, God, you see she's saying that, but watch when we do this. He already up there pleading his case against us, against you. So while he's sitting up there pleading his case, we giving into what he already saying. And I try to tell my clients, listen, I know what you're going through. I've been there before. I know this is a scary time. I know you don't see y'all. A lot of y'all are like me. We got to have the details. Pastor Michelle will tell you, I want to know X, Y, and Z. What we doing, how we doing, what we going to get there, who we doing it with, what the schedule going to look. I want to know all of it. But sometimes God ain't giving you all of that. He'll give you the peace. He'll get you to get started. And then once you move and do that piece, then he'll give you the rest of the details. He's already where he's trying to get us to go. We have to walk this path with him. And sometimes, like Pastor said, it's the unknown. It's the unknown. You're not going to know everything. You're not going to have all of the answers. You're not going to know. Yeah. You just got to trust God and say, Lord, I trust what you said. First of all, I trust what you said. I heard what you said. And my obedience to what you said when I move is going to show that I trust you. And let's be clear, delayed obedience is still disobedience. Yep. God is like, listen, I told you what to do. And see, I'm smacking myself on the hand. And Pastor, some of y'all already know. Like, listen, like this is right here, like this next crossroad, as she said, it's a journey. And I'm like, Lord, are you sure? It's not that I don't want to. It's like, but God, like, that's huge. Yes. It's big. But how many of us know like our purpose is bigger than us and it's not even for us? He's just using us. We are just the vessel to get what he wants to do through the earth. He uses us, but he can't use us if we don't obey. And I'm not going to tell you I'm not here to try to sugarcoat this. I can't sugarcoat this thing with you. This is a faith walk for me. Every moment is a faith walk for me. When I remember, I'm backing back now. I remember in the time when I was getting ready to leave my career for entrepreneurship, I had told Pastor Michelle, I said, Pastor, I tell my mama, she gonna have a fit. She gonna freak out. What? What you mean? That's all I heard in my ear when I tell her. We went on vacation for spring break. We went to Gatlinburg, to the Pigeon. We was in Tennessee. And we were just having fun and natural conversation. And I was like, hey, y'all, like at this particular time, the contract, it wasn't no turning back. Like this woman of God has sent the contract. She has signed it twice and was getting ready to pay her deposit because she started paying before. Because again, it was a little steep. It was steep. And so she started wanting to pay before. And I remember us talking. I was like, y'all, guess what? Yeah, I'm going to start my entrepreneurship journey in August. And I'm going to tell y'all what my mama's response was. She was like, really? You've been talking about it a long time. I'm so proud of you. Baby, I called Pastor Michelle while I was on vacation. I said, girl, my mama said, and I said, I know this God. Yeah. This is the hand of God. Because my mama got questions. She like, how you gonna do this? How you gonna pay for your insurance? What did you like? This 21 questions is it. But when I told them sitting at the table when we were eating the good taco salad, okay, we were eating good. And I told them, and she came back, she was like, I'm so proud of you. Like, this is something you've been talking about for a minute, going and doing this. I was like, wait a minute, is that mama?
Yeah. But Charissa, tell them this part, even as your mom was posing those questions, you were really ready to answer them, because I remember, again, we walked through this process of the research of what it would cost, the research of how I'm going to cover what the full-time job would cover when I make this step. You didn't just step out there. You did the research. You were prepared.
Yeah.
Also, some people may have this question as we get ready to tie all this up. What are maybe some things that you would do differently if you started this journey again, in hindsight, that maybe you would do a little bit differently now to have prepared yourself more? Because as your mom was asking those questions, you had done the research, you had made the calls, you'd gotten all of the bids or the quotes for what these things were going to cost you out of pocket, right? And so what are maybe some things, again, in hindsight and being 2 years in, because we gain wisdom as we go, what are some things you might would do differently if you were starting from scratch again, that you didn't do the first time, that you were saying maybe halfway through the journey, dog, I wish I'd done this, and this to, and maybe there isn't anything, but what, maybe there's one thing in particular that you would be like, if I could do this differently, or if I were able to start again, I would put this in place and move differently in this way. Maybe share that with somebody that's thinking like, oh my goodness, I didn't even think about that. So yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I'm so glad you asked me that. Actually, for me, yes, as I did prepare, as I did, get, I had godly counsel, sound counsel. It was something that I knew God was calling me, to. I think for me, the biggest thing I would have done is not second guess, because I second guessed a lot. And I was like, are you sure, God? Like, I questioned God. Like, I can be honest, I questioned. I was like, Lord, are you sure? Like, I know she signed, even after the contract was signed, like, are you sure this is what you want me to do? And I think one of the things for me, and what I try to tell my clients, and what I try to do, for myself now, even as I'm at this crossroad yet again, is keep the vision in front of me. Like, the word that he spoke to me, keep that in front of me and read over it daily. I think a lot of times God tells us things, we kind of like shove it on off, because it's like, yeah, God, I hear you, but when he speaks, get a pen, have something ready, and keep that in front of you. Like what he says, meditate on the word day and night, like study what he's telling you. Because for me, and then understand that if he's called you to it, then he can bring you through it. Like, you're equipped and you're ready. So believing in yourself. If you know that God has put this business and God wants you to do something full time, then trust God enough to know that if he brought you to this position, he's going to, allow you to go through it. Another thing was I wasn't knowledgeable of grants. I think I only kind of started getting knowledgeable of grants maybe in the past year, but I wasn't aware that an LLC, and you don't even have to be an LLC. You can just have some people will finance a dream, a vision, an idea. If you have it written up, typed out what you want to do, how you want to do it, when you're going to do it, what you need, and all of those things, there are people out there willing to give you free money to fund your business. If I would have known that, I would have been applying for grants so far ahead. Like, I just started applying for grants. I think my first grant I applied for was maybe summer of last year. And I remember the grant that I applied for and forgot about it. And I won it. Didn't even know. I ended up winning it for the first time. Like, my first time ever getting a grant. I ended up winning it. It was $1,000, but that was $1,000 that I didn't have, $1,000 that was free to me. I didn't have to pay back. and really get knowledgeable about, things that you can write off and things, as far as like what you can on your taxes. Like I didn't understand that, because I'm a home-based business, I do most of my work is at home, that I can write off every area of my home that I use for my business. So I actually turned my and I don't think we didn't say this, but I actually turned my garage where I'm sitting in now, and I can actually come make it, let's see, not blur my background. So y'all see, I actually turned my garage into like a tutoring classroom. I'm gonna show y'all a little bit, it's a little junk over there. But my garage now looks like a classroom. So I had to like the floor, like the painting, the wall, all of that stuff that I use to do this, I can write that off on my taxes. Anything that I use for podcasts, I've learned so much as a business owner. Like if I go and get my hair and nails done because I have an event, I can write that off on my taxes because that's a part of my business. Y'all ain't hear me. I can write that off on my taxes. My hair, my nails, my clothing that I'm wearing for the event, I can write that off on my taxes because those are items that you need to do whatever it is that you need to do. So all of my resources that I get off a line from Teacher Pay Teachers, like any professional development that I take and pay for out of my pocket, any business coaching. So if you are a business owner with the LLC and you file business taxes, if you have a business coach, a marketing coach, anybody who does anything business wise for you and you pay them, you can write that off on your taxes. I didn't know all of that stuff back then. I just kind of jumped into this. And once I jumped into it, I started getting into circles who were talking things that I didn't know. So that's another thing. Connect with people who know stuff. Get and stop trying to do this thing. You can't be what I've learned. I'm not a one-man band. Like I gotta have people in my ear feeding me knowledge and wisdom if I want to grow. Now your sister's up here just about every other day applying for some type of grant. Grants, you have to win to get them. You have to know how to write them. Some of them they're easy as a Google form. All they want to know, your name, your business. They may ask you for your EIN. Sometimes some of them might ask you for a business plan. Sometimes they don't. They just want to look at your website and why you doing what you're doing. 5 sentences, go. Some of them want a 90-minute video, a 90-second video that tells who you are, what you do, and how you're helping the community. You got to have I didn't understand. You need a story. There's a story why you do what you do. It's called your brand story. And so I was developing, even though I was in my business, but God was developing this part of me out. And now I get to help other people. Like all of the wisdom that I know, I don't hoard it for myself. I don't hoard it for myself. Learn how to share and give it out. Learn how to be able to connect with people for real. Stop being so secluded. There are ways to get help, but you can't get help if you don't get in the right places where you can receive the help, or you don't make the investment in yourself. This stuff costs. And let me also say this, as a business owner, I have been following I've been following this girl for a very, very, very long time. And when I understood that this particular person was charging $300 for 30 minutes of her time, the light switch came on. And I said, Sharisa, if she charging $300 for 30 minutes, why you can't do that? And you gonna give them an hour? You gonna go over and beyond, because that's just how I am. We got to understand our words. I had to stop nickel and diming myself. God told me I was gonna be a millionaire. I ain't there yet, but I do believe what he said. But I can't be a millionaire nickel and diming myself and not really understanding my words. Like I gotta be able to charge, and the price is the price. and be okay with charging whatever it is. There's so many things that I would have done differently, but one of the things, I would have believed in myself a little bit more. I would have said, Sharisa, you got this, you're equipped. God has put the provision in front of you. He didn't showed you already. Stop second guessing me. And he does that for me every time. So now when I get to this particular school year has been very challenging because there have been low months. I made a $10,000 month not this April 2023, but April 2022. I made my first ever $10,000 month. And I held that until like the latter part of last year. And I shared that because God put me in a position to share, because he said, okay, all of the knowledge that you're learning, I need you to start pouring into other entrepreneurs. And that's what I do now. So I take my information and I help other people while God is still helping me. But he did that for me to let me understand that it was attainable, because I couldn't fathom charging somebody that much of money for that small, significant amount of time. But he was like, yeah, but just raise it up. And I raised my prices up. I have, and it's okay. You know, when I first started doing this, I did it for little of nothing, like nothing. Oh, you just give me $10 an hour. $10 an hour. But I didn't know no better. Like, I didn't know. But now that I know, I'm more confident in myself saying, hey, this is my price. And I make it affordable for other people to pay the price. But what I understand is you got to make the investment in yourself. You got to learn how to bet on you. If you want to be a better educator, if you want to be a better entrepreneur, what are you doing to pour into yourself? Who are you sitting around? What circles? Who's at your table? Who are you eating from? Is everybody eating from you, but you're not eating from nobody? Who's grooming you? Come on, Ruth. Naomi groomed her in private. Who's grooming you? Who's pouring into you? Who are you looking at? Who are you watching? Who are you studying? Not to copy. My prices are, I'm not at that stage. I'm saying I'm gonna charge $300 for 30 minutes. That ain't me. But it is a little bit more than 10. It's a lot more than 10. I mean, and I'm gonna give you an hour, probably an hour and a half. But you know, like, you got to be able to say, I'm gonna invest in myself. I'm gonna get the resources. I'm gonna go out here and get it. I'm gonna get into circles of people who are doing the same thing that I'm doing so I can get there. It's time out for us to stop being jealous of one another and come together and collaborate and partner and be transparent. That's why I birthed what I call the round table, because people need to come to the table. People need to come to the table and let's talk. We do so much talking about people. Let's talk. Let's collaborate. You see your sis, your bro needs some help. Help them. Help them. We need each other. We got to come in agreement as kingdom influencers, kingdom entrepreneur, as sisters, as brothers. We have to come together and be a help. There's money out there for everybody. It's out there for everybody. You gonna eat, I'm gonna eat, she gonna eat, he gonna eat. Everybody's going to eat. But we are sometimes so like standoffish, or we put ourselves in this little box or this little category, and we're just afraid, like, I don't want to do this, and I don't want to do this, and I don't want to connect, and da. We are missing what I hope you hear. What I really hope you hear is that God used people to get me here. I didn't get here on my own. Every step of my journey, he used people. People who I didn't know of. Pastor Michelle, I knew her. I saw her every Sunday when she got on up in the pulpit. But to say I know her. We do life. Like I know her. Like, know her now. But back then, I didn't. He used people. But if we're not open and being vulnerable and transparent to connect with other people, we are missing our biggest blessings. We don't know who knows who. Your answer may be in that person who you keep shooting off. But we got to be able, y'all, and I hope y'all hear me. Like we have to be able to connect for real. One thing that I'm sure of, and I understand as a midwife. So, because let me say this, there are some clients who are doing the same thing that I do or want to do the same thing that I'm doing right now. And in that, I can't withhold information. I wouldn't be a good mentor if I withhold things from this person because I'm afraid that they're going to take it and they're going to go ahead of me. And I can't worry about that. My journey is my journey. What I'm very clear of, and I can talk to you guys about and she don't mind, and I don't know if she's on here, but the lady, Monique, I helped birth her first book. Baby, she got like 20 books out. Only got 3. She's like, she wants that first book, 2, 3 of them coming out at one time. God was like, you shouldn't be jealous of her. I use you to help her. What I did in you, it wasn't even for you. You're going to benefit from it, but I use you to help somebody else get to where I'm trying to take them. But I could have in my flesh said, oh, she got shoes. I could have did all of that. No. Me and her are good friends. Sis, every time she got something going on, she calling me. She like, girl, I got connection with this. They doing a radio interview. I want you to check it out. She always sending me something. You know why? She said, you are the reason why I'm here. She said, you are the reason why I'm where I am today. When I go up, you go up. So I look at this thing like this. If I can help you win and you win, I win. Because I'm a part of it. God has been giving me that revelation like a lot lately. Because I asked God about, because I don't have any actual children. Y'all better hear me. I don't have children. But it took a woman of God say, yeah, you got children and grandchildren. Because when you birthed that first book, that was your child. And then that book birthed another book or another business. Those are your grandchildren. That's the legacy that he's called me to leave. Do I want children? I do. I want my children. I want my husband. I want all that. But I am satisfied in knowing that what God has put in me, he's using me to create a legacy. So I pray that something that has been said on this evening, because it is 8:26 and we can go on and talk about this. But I pray that my story, my testimony, the good, bad, and ugly, because like I said, it ain't always been pretty. But you can't tell, if you couldn't tell if I had money in my pocket or not, because I don't look like I don't look like it. Because every time I feel like I'm at the end of my ropes, a cash app come through, an invoice get paid. You got a client paid for some, and they ain't even called you back to set up the sessions. I'm trying to get clients who done paid me. I ain't talking about no chump change either. I'm talking about they didn't pay for their whole package. I'm trying to get their information. Like, come on. He'll send everything I need. So you just got to trust him, y'all. You got to trust him. And I thank God, man. I really do. Like, He ain't even done yet. This is just I'm still in the beginning phase. I'm still in the beginning phase. I'm still in it. I'll probably be coming back next year telling you y'all what he did from 2023 to 2024. Yeah, Tisha, it's up from here. Like, listen. Listen, y'all. I'm just a girl from Burstall, Jonesboro, Belma, Nazareth, whatever you want to call it, ghetto, hood. I'm just, ain't nobody special. I just trust them. I just believe them. Lord, you said it. You're not a man that you shall lie. You're not gonna lie to me. You love me. You love me. You want me to win. Let me get myself right. Let me get on one. Let me stop fighting you. Because when I keep fighting you, I am losing and I'm wasting time. I could have been did some things, but it's me trying to work details out in me because I second guess, because I get in my own head, because I'm trying to figure things out and trying to make it make sense. Lord, I don't understand. Listen, it's only up, y'all. I see y'all. Man. My girls are on here. Like, they've been riding with me. And we don't talk every day. But they know they sis out here grinding. They know when Sharice is going through some stuff. They know me. They know. They praying for me. Get you some friends. Get you some people. Like, for real, for real. Get you some folks who praying for you in the back, not praying against you, but praying for you. Get you some people who want you to win. Get you some people who see something beyond what you see. Get you some destiny partners, some people pushers, some people who can say, listen, sis, you ain't do that right. You ain't handle that right. But I love you, though. You got to get together. Somebody who say, you've been in my spirit, why I ain't talk to you? What's going on? You okay? Because if y'all don't know me, when I start getting quiet, just know, and I've been quiet for a minute, but it's a testimony coming, y'all. And I just trust God. I'm trying not to cry. But I feel it coming. I just trust God. And I pray that as I sit and look at this classroom that happened in the matter of 3 months, probably, I want to say, as I sit and look in a house that I felt like I never was going to be able to get. When I sit and look at a car that I ain't even want, but God said, yeah, I'm going to give it to you. I just needed a car. God put me in it. I ain't even want that kind. He put me in it. As I sit and I look around, and to know that even in my low months where I couldn't hardly pay everything, when I thought lights was going to get cut off, when I thought the car was going to get repoed, when I thought when I thought that cable about to get cut off, I still got everything. Lights on, food in the refrigerator. I may not have steak and potatoes every day. It may not be a week that I can go out. Y'all know I like Texas Roadhouse. I probably can't get that good cow like my sister called it. But know that your girl is still eating. He's feeding me. He has taught me how to be abased and abound. And I thank God because I couldn't do it without him. I couldn't do this without him. And I pray that, if you're thinking about like stepping out, you're going to have to step out on faith. And you're going to have to trust God to move on your behalf. You got to take your prayer life up. You got to take that relationship up. This entrepreneur has drawn me so closer to God. I thought I was close to him. I thought I was real close. this right here has brought me so closer to God. He took me through this journey. And I got in a position where the brooks did dry up. Things weren't looking. I thought I was about to lose it all, get hit all kinds of ways. Everything. Once I decided let me just say this. Once I decided to go into full-time entrepreneurship, like my whole family dynamics changed, relationships change. Like it's just so much that has happened over the course of these 2 years. And I was like, Lord, did I make the right decision? Like, Jesus, everything is happening around me, but I trust God. And he's been so faithful. And that's what I will say for you guys. Listen, if you have something that you have in your heart to do, is God is putting something on you, let my story, just this small little segment of time, let my story be an encouragement to you to trust God. I mean, like, literally trust God. And don't move until he tells you to. You got to move with him. Like, if you know God has called you to leave your job, and you know, then leave. I promise you the provision is going to be there. And then when you do make the decision, that's when things start opening up for you. We fight God so much. God's like, stop fighting me. I need you to trust me. I've been telling you to get yourself ready. I've been telling you what to do. I've been telling you to get this together. I've been telling you to do this. I've been telling you to go here. I've been telling you to go there. I'm putting strategic relationships and people in front of you to get you where you're supposed to be. Don't be afraid of new people. I had to learn that. Don't be afraid of new people, new places, new things. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid of new people and new things. God is strategic. He is strategic, and he will send who and what you need to get you to where you can't abort it. You can delay it, but you can't abort it. Eventually, one day, you're going to give up and you're going to give in and just stop fighting God. So, I don't know. I'm done. I'm grateful. I'm full. I thank y'all so much. I see y'all on YouTube, man. I was so nervous about this. Is my first time ever streaming live on YouTube. Like, this is a first for a lot of things. I see y'all in the Zoom room. I love y'all, man. I just say, trust God, trust your process. I dare you. I'm going to tell you, and Pastor Michelle will tell you this. She loves to challenge us, doesn't she, y'all? She put us on challenges. Give God 90 days. Stick to something for 90 days. Give God a year. Give him 12 months. Give him 3. Give him 2. Give him something. And once you get in alignment with him and how he connects you, get in his face. Like, this is a time, like, you got to seek everything about what you're doing, especially if you are in a season where you are ending some things and stepping into a new, you're going to have to get in God's face. Like, you got to get desperate. Like, you can't move until you hear God. Like, you may have to get in a season of, I don't want to call it isolation. I don't want to call it that because it's really not isolation, but I'll say it's a season of quiet. You may not be able to hang out and go everywhere.
It's incubation.
That is incubation. You may have to do that. You may have to get in a season where you quiet. You ain't talking to a whole lot of people, or it's limited. And get you some people who okay with you doing that. And you can say, listen, I'm trying to hear some stuff, so I may not put some boundaries in place. My sisters know my phone goes on D&D at a certain time. I got that from the good woman of God who y'all see on the screen. She's like, shut it down. Get quiet so you can hear. You got to make time. If you want change, you got to make the change that you need to make to get to where you're going, y'all. Trust God, y'all. That's all I'm going to say. Pastor Michelle, do you have any last words? Because I'm just full right now. Like,
Amen. God bless you, Sharisa, for sharing your story. I want you to write this in the chat or write these things down. I heard these nuggets as she was sharing. Trust over fear, stewardship, obedience, consistency. And I want you to see these things as golden keys. There are certain keys that will unlock your home, unlock boxes at the bank. There are certain keys that will unlock your car. Trust over fear, stewardship, obedience, consistency, collaboration, discipline. And then I want you to put a circle around that, and at the top of that circle, put reward. There's a reward that comes with all the battles that come with those things in that circle. Everything in that circle: trust over fear, stewardship, obedience, consistency, collaboration, and discipline. Put a circle around those things, because those are all of the things you're going to face on not just an entrepreneurial journey, any journey that you say yes to. I want you to put at the top of that circle, reward. Yes, inside that circle, there's challenges, there's battles, there's ups and downs, there's ebbs and flows, there's uncertainties, there's unknowns. But if you stick to God being in that circle with you with all this stuff going on, I want you to remember there's a reward. Amen.
Amen. To God be the glory. To God be the glory for the great and mighty things that he has done. I can't take the credit. This is all him. This is all him. So when you get to where you're going, give it to God. Give it to God. Don't take the credit, because without him, we are nothing. To God be the glory for the great and mighty things that he has done. Listen, I am done. I love y'all so much. Thank y'all so much for joining. Thank y'all for listening and allowing me to share my heart with you guys. Man, I'm excited. I'm excited about what God is doing in my life. I'm excited about what God is doing in the lives of the people who are around me. Listen, we pushing, we birthing, we pushing and we birthing over here in my circle. Listen to me. We are pushing and birthing. If you're gonna come around, we pushing and birthing. We tapping people on the shoulder like, listen, what you supposed to be doing? We pushing and birthing. Pastor Michelle, thank you. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for being my sister. Thank you for being a confidant. Thank you for being, my gosh, my provoker, my pusher, my friend, my sis. Just thank you. Yeah, thank you. I am forever grateful for you. I thank God for you. And I just thank you. You deserve so much, like, because I know you don't just do this for me. I know we can get other people, because I know you are a big gift for a lot of people, and you help a lot of people with a lot of things. But man, I'm just telling you, you have stuck beside me through the beginning, like conception until birthing, and have seen how God has, from one thing, put other things to me, and birthed other things inside of me. And we still pushing and still birthing and still going. And you have walked this journey out with me. And I am forever grateful for your love, your friendship, for those getting me together. I call her Pastor, y'all. She get me together. She called me Riri. And I call her Pastor, because she get me together. You hear me? But I need that. I need people like that in my life who gonna tap me on my shoulder, who's gonna say, girl, get yourself together. Shake that off. Let's go. I need that. And you have been that for me. So I thank you so much. Thank you for taking out your time to come on this live and just share. I had to, and I wish I could have gotten the other lady to come on and share as well. But to God be the glory. I'm celebrating 2 years. And I am forever grateful. Listen, if y'all want to get connected to me, if you are listening, if you've never, I don't know who all is on here, but you can find me on Facebook at Charissa T. That is CHARRISAT. You can also go to my website, www.charissat.org. To know more about my ministry, to know more about my business, to know more about how I can possibly help you birth, how we can partner and collaborate. I love hosting segments where I'm talking with entrepreneurs, I'm talking with authors. I love collaboration. I love meeting new people. I didn't used to be like this, y'all. I was very shy. Like when I first started like coming into the scene, because I met a lot of my sisters from my previous church. But when I first started, I was very shy. I was very shy. My God took me out. He took all that out. He took all that away. I'm still shy a little bit. Like I hesitate a little bit, but he took all that away. He put me in it's too many new people around me for me to be shy. He won't even let me. Like, no. But yeah, I'm grateful for what God is doing, and I thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much. And man, these gems that you just summed up. Listen to me. She said, trust over fear, obedience, consistency, stewardship. Because I had to learn how to steward a minute thing before I can get to a bigger thing. Ooh. Okay, y'all, I'm not going to, because we'll be on here another 30 minutes. I love y'all. I'm getting off of here. I pray y'all have a great rest of your Wednesday. And thank y'all so much for rocking with me. Hey, make sure that you like, subscribe, and share this video. Hey, if you know any entrepreneurs who are thinking about stepping out, send this to them. Maybe it'll be a blessing. Put your comments below. Subscribe to my channel, and yeah, there's some great things happening, but I'm not going to do all of that and share all of that today. But you can go to my website, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, all of that, get connected, and you'll be able to know about all the wonderful and great things that I have coming up. I love you guys. Thank y'all so much for joining, and thank y'all so much for all of the congratulations and the hearts. I thank y'all so much. Hey, I love y'all. Have an amazing, amazing, amazing night.